Okay, let's unpack this. Think about the last time you, or maybe someone you know, needed to see a doctor for something that felt, well, a bit personal.
Wow.
Maybe it was a conversation you were kind of dreading, something that just felt awkward, maybe even deeply embarrassing to bring up in that, like, traditional doctor's office setting.
Right. The clinical environment.
Exactly. Could be something common, like hair loss or a skin thing that made you self-conscious. Or maybe something more sensitive, like ED or, mental health stuff.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? For so many people, it's just clunky, right? Inconvenient. You're dealing with phone trees, trying to get an appointment weeks, sometimes months out.
Oh, absolutely. The wait
Oh.
times can be brutal.
Then you finally get there, sit in that sterile waiting room with strangers, just to get maybe, what, 5, 10 minutes with a doctor?
Doctor, you probably don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. All that, just to talk about something incredibly private, it really does feel like this bureaucratic maze, kind of an old-fashioned system that's just stuck. And honestly, it often puts up a big wall to getting care.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just like a minor hassle. It's
Yeah.
a real systemic failure.
Mm.
It creates a massive barrier to needed care for millions.
Mm.
The traditional healthcare system, I mean, for all its medical brilliance, it's just full of these inefficiencies. You mentioned wait times, weeks, months, especially for specialists like dermatologists or
Mm.
mental health pros.
Right.
And there's a serious lack of privacy when you're talking about really sensitive stuff in that setting. Plus, that natural reluctance, that hesitation people feel discussing deeply personal things face to face with essentially a stranger.
Yeah, totally.
So all this discomfort, this friction, it means millions of people just, well, they won't get the care they actually need.
Mm.
And that leads to worse outcomes, more suffering. It's kind of this hidden crisis of silence, really, unmet needs everywhere.
Exactly. It's a system that feels like it's been broken for ages, leaving people struggling silently or forcing them through this awkward, long process for things that are actually quite common.
Uh-huh.
But what if? What if there was a hero in this story? A company that looked at this huge pain point, all that friction and embarrassment, and just decided, nope, we're going to flip the script.
Right.
And that's exactly where Hims and Hers comes in. They're way more than just another company. They really feel like a revolution against that old way of doing things.
Mm.
Their goal, audacious maybe, but also brilliantly simple. Build a multi-billion-dollar business based on, well, dignity and easy access to care.
Dignity and access, key words.
Totally. It's about giving you back your privacy, making it incredibly convenient, and making healthcare actually work for you on your schedule, not the systems.
And the scale of what they built and how fast they did it, it's genuinely remarkable. They took that widespread, really personal pain point, the difficulty, the awkwardness of getting care for sensitive stuff, and turned it into this huge, successful business.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not just about offering a new service. It feels like a fundamental shift in how healthcare is delivered, how we even think about it, and how it fits into our lives in a way that actually prioritizes comfort, privacy, and convenience.
They saw a massive gap.
A huge unmet need, yeah.
Yeah.
A psychological gap, a logistical one, and they built this incredibly smart, scalable, patient-focused solution right into it.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. Our mission here is to unpack how Hims and Hers pulled this off, and maybe more importantly, why they seem positioned for even bigger things despite already being so successful.
Right.
So when we talk about building the bull case, we're basically looking at all the reasons why this company looks like it's set up for strong, continued growth and, potentially good investment returns, even if there's skepticism out there.
Mm.
We're going to dig into their explosive growth, look at the thinking behind their leader, Andrew Dudum, and really explore the massive opportunity that's still out there. Think of this as like chapter one of a bigger story.
A story of disruption, innovation.
And as we'll find out later, some serious challenges too.
Definitely. And we're absolutely going to try and go beyond just the headline numbers.
Yeah.
We want you to understand why this company seems so uniquely positioned, why their approach is working so well.
What's the secret sauce?
Exactly. What are those underlying strengths, those strategic moves that let them carve out such a big space in an industry that's usually so rigid and slow? Hopefully you'll have a few aha moments as we lay out the core parts of their bull case.
Okay, let's start by digging into that initial problem again and Hims and Hers' core mission. Tearing down those walls.
Right.
We've probably all felt that hesitation, that little internal debate about getting help for something we feel self-conscious about.
Mhm.
I mean, just imagine the mental energy it takes to gear yourself up to talk about, say, hair loss or acne with a doctor you just met, let alone something like ED or anxiety.
It's significant.
And that whole dreaded doctor's office experience, plus how personal these issues are,
Yeah.
it often forces people into this awful choice. Suffer quietly, let things get worse, let your confidence drop,
Oh.
or face that whole process, the friction, maybe feeling judged, the potential embarrassment. It's not just inconvenient, it chips away at your dignity.
And these walls of stigma, as you call them, they're not just individual feelings. They're deeply societal, almost cultural.
Yeah.
They come directly from how healthcare has often been set up. Prioritizing this sort of clinical formality over genuine patient comfort, empathy, and crucially, privacy.
Right.
That traditional model, with its lack of anonymity and that very real fear of being judged, it literally stopped millions from getting help for things that are common, treatable, but just carry this heavy social stigma. It was a systemic flaw, a huge hole.
Creating a vacuum.
Exactly. A vacuum waiting for a company like Hims and Hers to step in with a totally fresh approach.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Back in 2017, this young founder, Andrew Didham, he looks at this whole situation, this huge group of people struggling silently, and he sees more than just a problem. He sees this massive opportunity for radical change.
Mm.
So he launches Hims, and the mission, incredibly simple but just completely groundbreaking in its boldness: eliminate stigmas.
Just like that?
Yeah. Think about how bold that was. For decades, you had these established norms, these taboos dictating how these conversations happened, or, more often, how they didn't happen.
Right. They just weren't discussed openly.
You just cuts right through it. He starts with men's health, tackling the stuff many considered the most taboo: ED, hair loss, addresses them head on. No awkward euphemisms, just direct, discreet, easy-to-access solutions.
This is a powerful statement.
Totally. It was like saying, hey, these common, treatable things, they deserve to be talked about and treated just as easily as anything else.
And the strategic genius of starting right there with those often uncomfortable men's health issues. You really can't overstate it.
Why is that?
Well, by hitting ED and hair loss directly, Hims immediately showed they were serious about that mission, about eliminating stigma. It wasn't just words on a website. It was action.
Right. Tangible proof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That bold, straightforward approach quickly built credibility and trust in a really sensitive area that traditional healthcare often tiptoed around or ignored. It showed they were serious about making care accessible, even for the tough stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the quick but smart expansion to hers, shortly after moving into equally underserved areas like women's health, mental health, dermatology, that just cemented it.
Showed it wasn't just a niche play.
Precisely. It showed adaptability, sure, but also a deeper understanding of the whole spectrum of patient needs. It proved their model wasn't just a one-trick pony, but a scalable blueprint for a new kind of healthcare.
And the actual business model they used, structurally, it's pretty brilliant. It's direct-to-consumer telehealth DTC.
Which is a big deal in healthcare.
Huge, because usually you've got insurance companies, complex billing, all these middlemen adding friction and cost. DTC cuts through that.
So what does that mean for you, the person seeking care?
It means no more juggling schedules for appointments. You get virtual consultations with licensed doctors right from your own home. Total privacy.
Comfort and privacy, yeah.
And these aren't just generic chats. They lead to personalized treatment plans, tailored specifically to you, your needs, your history.
Personalized is key there.
And then this is the killer app for convenience. Your meds get delivered discreetly right to your door. No pharmacy lines, no awkward pickups.
Game changer.
Absolute game changer. If you're busy, if you're shy, if you just value privacy and ease, it takes all the friction, the embarrassment, the logistical nightmare out of it. It redesigns the whole interaction. The process becomes part of the cure almost.
And a really crucial insight here, maybe a strategic masterstroke, is that this whole thing is built on a sticky subscription model.
The subscription, right.
This isn't like a one-off doctor visit, a single transaction. It's about building long-term, ongoing relationships.
Which is good for business.
Definitely. From a business angle, it creates that incredibly valuable, predictable, recurring revenue. That's the holy grail, right?
Yeah.
But from the patient side, it builds what you could almost call a fortress of trust and adherence. You're not just buying a pill. You're signing up for ongoing support for your health, often for chronic things like hair loss or managing anxiety.
It changes the dynamic.
Completely. It shifts healthcare from being transactional, where every visit is a new hurdle, to being deeply relational. That boosts loyalty, encourages people to stick with their treatment, leads to better health outcomes long term.
And gives hims and hers a massive edge.
A huge competitive advantage over that fragmented, traditional way where every follow-up feels like starting over. That stickiness. It's a powerful economic engine and a strategic moat.
So every big change, every revolution needs a leader, right? Someone
Yeah.
who sees things differently. For hims and hers, that's Andrew Dudum.
Mm.
His background is interesting and maybe not what you'd expect for a healthcare CEO. He's a Wharton grad, background in tech, venture capital.
Not a doctor or hospital admin.
Exactly. He's not a traditional healthcare insider, didn't come up through pharma or the hospital systems, and honestly, that might be his biggest strength, his superpower.
How so?
Well, he wasn't weighed down by all the legacy thinking, the inertia, the this is how we've always done it attitude that can really bog down established industries, especially regulated ones like healthcare.
Right. He had fresh eyes.
Totally. He looked at healthcare not just for what it was, but for what it could be. Efficient, patient first, driven by tech, and truly accessible to everyone.
Yeah, that tech and VC background brings a totally different mindset. It's all about rapid iteration, scaling fast, designing user experiences that are obsessively patient-centric.
Things healthcare isn't always known for.
Exactly. And this sort of almost Silicon Valley approach to capturing the market, those qualities are often missing in the traditional, slow-moving healthcare world.
So being an outsider helped him challenge things.
Absolutely. It let him question the basic assumptions, ask why not, when insiders were stuck on the how. That ability to see past the current limits and apply a modern consumer tech lens to this old school industry, it's been absolutely fundamental to their incredible growth.
Connects to the bigger picture, right?
Yeah, it really highlights how sometimes the biggest disruptions come from people outside the system, people who aren't burdened by the existing rules and limitations.
And you can't argue with the results of this approach. He took this company from just a bold idea in 2017, a small startup hitting a niche, and turned it into a telehealth giant. I mean, think about this. Hims and Hers is guiding towards over $2.3 billion in revenue for this year, 2025.
Astounding growth.
He took them public, raised hundreds of millions to fuel that growth, and maybe most importantly, hit a massive milestone, profitability in 2024.
That profitability piece is huge.
Incredibly significant, right?
Yeah.
Because it sets them apart from so many other tech startups that just burn cash endlessly, hoping to figure out profits later.
The grow at all costs trap.
Exactly. This shows a level of discipline that's pretty rare in that world.
Oh, absolutely. Hitting profitability in 2024, especially while still growing that fast, it's a huge sign of maturity and really strong operational control.
Unlike the typical startup playbook.
Right. Many tech companies stay unprofitable for years, just constantly needing more funding. Hims and Hers becoming profitable shows their model works, it's sustainable, it's self-sufficient.
Which investors love.
Investors really love that. It means the company can fund its own growth now without constantly needing market cash or taking on debt that dilutes shareholders. It shows financial discipline that sets them miles apart from most peers, especially in healthcare tech where upfront investment is so high.
It raises an important question, doesn't it?
It does. How many other healthcare disruptors can actually say they're financially independent at this kind of scale? Very, very few.
And underneath all this driving Dudum's strategy, the core idea seems to be using technology to empower the patient.
Laser focus on that.
It's not just about building a platform. It feels like a fundamental shift in control, right?
Yeah.
Moving power away from the old provider-centric model and putting it directly into your hands, the patient's hands.
Democratizing access.
Yeah, giving you the tools, the privacy, the agency to really manage your own health journey instead of just passively receiving care.
And the implications of that patient-first approach are massive. How does tech really empower you in a way old models didn't?
Convenience.
Convenience is huge. Also, immediate judgment-free access to information and guidance, discreet, easy communication with doctors, and that personalized care we talked about that actually fits your needs, not some standard protocol.
Takes away the old barriers.
Time barriers, location barriers, social anxiety barriers, all gone. And for Hims and Hers, this isn't just marketing talk. It seems baked into their product, their tech, their whole service.
And you think that continues?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can easily see this philosophy driving future innovation, maybe finding new treatment approaches, expanding into totally new service areas, continuing to refine what patient empowerment looks like in this digital-first world.
Okay, so I got the mission, the visionary leader. Let's talk about the kingdom itself, the market opportunity, and critically, how Hims and Hers defends its turf.
The moat.
Exactly. And the market. Oh, wow. When I say it's immense, I mean it's staggering. This total addressable market, the TAM, it's a classic blue ocean. Huge, mostly untapped by these modern consumer-focused solutions just waiting.
Put some numbers on it.
Okay, men's health alone,
Yeah.
10 to $15 billion market. Women's health, 15 to $20 billion. And then the big one, the giant, weight management. That's $100 billion plus global market.
Just enormous numbers.
And these aren't abstract figures. They represent millions and millions of people looking for help with common but often stigmatized issues.
And just to give even more context, the overall U.S. telehealth market Hims and Hers plays in, already worth hundreds of billions a year. And it's still really in the early stages of widespread adoption.
Still growing fast.
Still growing very fast. And here's the key stat, the one that really hammers home the long-term potential. Hims and Hers, currently, has captured less than 2% of its total addressable market.
Wow. Less than 2%.
Think about that. This isn't a company hitting maturity fighting for tiny bits of market share. This is a company with this massive, decades-long runway for growth ahead of it,
Huge potential.
where even small gains in market share mean exponential revenue growth. The long-term possibilities are almost hard to grasp. Plus, the whole telehealth market is expanding as people get more comfortable with virtual care, which just makes that blue ocean even bigger for Hims and Hers. It's like growth on top of growth.
Okay, so what does this all mean then? With a market that big, how do they defend themselves? Against existing players, sure, but also against all the new companies that must be jumping in, trying to grab a piece.
Right to competition.
This is where that competitive moat is so important. And they seem to have built not just one, but like 3 really strong defenses. Makes it tough for anyone else to catch up.
Let's break down those moat elements, because this is what really sets them apart and protects their future. First up, brand strength.
Trust.
Exactly. In healthcare, especially for sensitive stuff, trust is everything. It's the ultimate currency. And Hims and Hers has worked incredibly hard to build its brand into the trusted go-to name in this space.
How'd they do that?
Consistent, empathetic marketing that normalizes these conditions. Discreet service. A real focus on patient outcomes and positive experiences. And the numbers show it works. 2.1 million loyal subscribers.
That's a lot.
And growing nearly 40% year over year. That loyalty means steady, predictable revenue. It cuts their cost of getting new customers because happy customers stick around and tell friends, and it builds this huge barrier for competitors.
Hard to replicate that trust overnight.
Incredibly hard, time-consuming, expensive, especially in healthcare where the stakes feel so high. Hims and Hers has nailed it.
Okay, defense number 2. This one feels really advanced. Proprietary technology.
The AI.
Yeah, this is exciting. At the core of their personalized care is this AI system, right? They call it MedMatch. It helps create those personalized treatment plans. So this isn't just like a generic pill mill where everyone gets the same thing. It's customized, precision healthcare delivered efficiently, using AI to match you with the right treatment, the right dose, the right plan.
Challenges that idea that personalized care has to be super expensive or hard to get.
Exactly.
And that AI-powered MedMatch system. That's a deep, defensible advantage. It's really hard to copy.
Why is that?
Because doing truly personalized care at massive scale is incredibly complex. You need tons of anonymized patient data, sophisticated algorithms, and it has to integrate seamlessly with the doctors who oversee it all.
Does it work? Are people using it?
Get this, over 70% of their new subscribers are choosing these personalized options. That stat is huge. It proves it works and that people see the value in it.
Wow, 70%.
It's not just a gimmick. It's a core reason people choose them. And it creates this massive compounding data advantage.
How so?
More patients using personalized plans means more data feeding back into the AI. The AI gets smarter, the algorithms get better, the treatments get more precise and effective. It's a virtuous cycle.
A feedback loop.
A continuous data feedback loop. Every new patient makes the whole system better. That makes their service increasingly powerful and just incredibly difficult for competitors to even approach, let alone beat.
Which leads right into the third defense, maybe the most powerful one, network effects.
The ultimate virtuous cycle.
Right. The self-reinforcing loop that makes their business so strong and their leads so hard to overcome. Simply put, more subscribers mean more data.
And that data becomes a weapon. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where this powerful self-reinforcing loop kicks in hard. More subscribers generate this richer, more diverse pool of data on outcomes, on what works for different people, how individuals respond.
Real-world evidence.
Tons of it. This constant flow of high-quality data lets their AI, MedMatch, get even sharper, refine its algorithms, become more accurate, develop better, more effective, more personalized treatments, faster and faster.
Which leads to
Better patient outcomes,
Mhm.
higher satisfaction, which then acts like a magnet pulling in even more subscribers. It's this exponential growth and improvement curve.
almost impossible for a newcomer to catch up to.
Extremely difficult.
Uh,
A new company wouldn't just need the tech. They'd need that sheer volume of diverse, real-world patient data to train their AI effectively. Hims and Hers is already way down the road.
could lead to new discoveries.
You could absolutely speculate that this feedback loop might let them discover new treatment protocols, spot emerging health trends, maybe even anticipate patient needs before anyone else realizes they exist. It's a fundamental advantage that just gets stronger with every new user.
Okay, now let's look under the hood at the engine driving all this, the financials. Hims and Hers financial performance is, well, it's pretty breathtaking.
Hypergrowth.
It really is. This isn't just steady growth. It's a true hyper-growth story. Shows amazing execution and a clear path forward. It's the kind of stuff that gets investors really paying attention.
And the numbers themselves tell that story loud and clear. Back in 2021, revenue was $272 million. Respectable?
Mm-hmm.
Jumped just 2 years. To 2023, $872 million. Impressive jump.
Definitely.
By the end of 2024, they were looking at nearly $1.5 billion in annual revenue. And their latest guidance for 2025, they're forecasting between $2.3 and $2.4 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. If you look at the growth rate there, the compound annual growth,
Mm-hmm.
they're roughly doubling revenue every couple of years.
Yeah.
That consistency, that speed, that scale, it's just phenomenal.
Not a flash in the pan.
Yup.
Yeah.
Sustained, strong, accelerating growth year after year, really changing the game in online healthcare.
And what's amazing is they're not just chasing revenue wildly. They're doing it with fantastic gross margins, right? Around 80%.
Yeah, consistently around 80%. That's incredible.
Especially for healthcare services.
It's incredibly impressive, yeah. Healthcare usually has high overheads, complex billing, admin costs. 80% gross margin suggests a super efficient cost structure, strong pricing power, and lots of operational leverage. Meaning for every dollar they bring in, about 80 cents is left after the direct costs of providing the service. That leaves a ton of cash for reinvesting in tech, marketing, growth, and ultimately fuse their profitability.
Because they cut out the middleman.
Their digital-first DTC model cuts out layers of overhead, no expensive clinics, less admin, no complex insurance cycles. They capture a much bigger piece of the value.
And speaking of profitability, as of last year, 2024, they hit another huge financial point. Cash flow positive.
Critical milestone. Being cash flow positive means the business is generating more cash from its operations than it's spending. That signals real financial health, makes them way less reliant on outside funding like VCs or loans.
Financial independence.
It's a hallmark of a sustainable, self-sufficient business. Gives them huge flexibility for strategic moves, investing, expanding, maybe even buying back shares without needing permission or diluting current owners. It's a sign of maturity many hypergrowth companies just don't reach.
But maybe the most telling thing, the insight that really speaks to the quality of this management team, is this. Hims and Hers management has never missed their quarterly guidance. Not once. Ever.
Huge. And frankly, rare.
Right.
It signals incredible discipline, super accurate forecasting, and just exceptional operational excellence.
Builds trust.
Immense trust with investors. In the crazy world of public markets, a team that consistently hits or beats its own targets. That's gold. It shows they can execute, they can forecast accurately, even in a fast-changing market, and they deliver on their promises.
Reliability.
That track record of reliability gives huge confidence in their future plans. They say what they'll do, and then they actually do it. Sets them apart.
So let's just pull this all together for a second. What we've basically laid out here is, well, it's a really compelling story, isn't it? Has all the pieces you'd look for in maybe the perfect investment narrative.
It ticks a lot of boxes.
You got the visionary founder, Andrew Dudum, who saw a broken system and had the guts to try and fix it, driven by this mission to end stigma, bring dignity back. We've looked at this massive market opportunity stretching out for decades, this huge runway for growth.
The blue ocean.
We've seen this powerful, layered, competitive moat, brand strength, proprietary AI tech, those network effects making their lead really hard to challenge.
Very defensible.
And then the financial engine, not just growing incredibly fast, but doing it with great margins, profitability, discipline, and a management team that literally never misses.
It really does sound like the ideal setup, doesn't it? Innovative, profitable, positioned for massive long-term growth.
It does. It really does. But this is where the story takes a sharp, dramatic turn. Because when you shake things up this much, when you disrupt an industry this enormous, this powerful, this entrenched, like traditional healthcare, you
Yeah.
don't just get millions of happy customers.
You also get an enemy.
Powerful enemies.
And
Exactly.
right now, Hims and Hers finds itself squarely in the middle of a storm, a real storm.
Kind of
We're
storm.
talking escalating controversy, high-stakes legal battles, serious accusations, and a very prominent, very loud short seller, someone with influence,
A short seller.
yeah, who has publicly forcefully claimed that this whole multi-billion-dollar company, it's fundamentally flawed, built on, quote, a house of cards, and that it's all about to come crashing down.
Wow, House of Cards. That's
It's
intense.
not just mild skepticism, it's an all-out assault on their business model, their future, everything.
So the big question then is he right? Is this whole healthcare revolution actually that fragile? Or is he missing the real picture, the underlying strength, the resilience, the undeniable long-term value of what they've built?
That's the cliffhanger.
That is precisely what we're going to dig into, uncover in the next chapter of our deep dive into Hims and Hers. So definitely stay tuned for that. Because the truth, the full story of this battle for healthcare's future, it might genuinely surprise you.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
It really does. Even the most successful disruptors, the ones that seem unstoppable, they always face intense pushback. Rapid growth in an old, established industry pretty much guarantees a fight for survival. What happens when that old order pushes back hard? We'll get into that next time.